Hey, everybody, Legal Vices here. We're getting up to speed on this case here, the Bradley Yohn case out of Illinois. He's going to be going on trial fairly soon, we hope, we think, maybe, and we'll see how this all works out. This trial has the potential of being even weirder and wilder than the Darrell Brooks trial. Why? Because Darrell Brooks was acting as a poser in the soft sit movement. There's no way you can convince me he was deeply aware of the soft sit movement. But this guy, Bradley Yohn, seems to be a true believer. He does the action. He walks the walk. He does this. So we're going to get a little bit into his background story. We're going to be talking about how his trial has progressed thus far. He did some bad stuff, went to jail, did some more bad stuff. He's facing a bunch of felonies, and he is doing the proper soft sit things by filing motion after motion after motion and lawsuit after lawsuit, objecting to everything, demanding to be his own lawyer. We're going to dive right into the news here. Let's go for it with the Bradley Yohn case. This is the background. This is the history here. This is from last year, November 11th, 2021. Pair in custody after reported carjacking and SA. Big in it. Quincy. A Springfield, Illinois man and a Quincy woman are in custody after a string of reported crimes that include vehicular hijacking, burglary, and SA. The Adams County Sheriff's Office reports Bradley S. Yohn, 34, of Springfield, Illinois, and Karen D. Blackledge, 32, of Quincy, were taken into custody about 2 p.m. Wednesday in Springfield. The Sheriff's Office reports they responded about 6 p.m. Tuesday to a report of a burglary at a home off North Bottom Road in rural Adams County. There, a homeowner told deputies that she had been the victim of a vehicular hijacking on North Bottom Road and forced to return to the home, which she also told authorities had been robbed. Adams County Sheriff Rich Wagner told WGEM that a woman in her 70s had pulled over on the North Bottom Road about 6 p.m. Tuesday because a headlight on her vehicle wasn't working correctly. She told police that Yohn and Blackledge pulled up behind her. She reported the two stole her car, took her home, robbed her, and SA'd her. A woman in her 70s stole her car, took her home, robbed her, and SA'd her. Wagner said the woman did not know either suspect. As part of their investigation, deputies determined the vehicle the suspect reportedly used during the vehicular hijacking had been reported stolen Tuesday from a Quincy business. So they stole a car to hijack another one. The investigation led police to identify Yohn and Blackledge as suspects. Wagner said Yohn and Blackledge eluded police Tuesday night in Quincy and Hannibal before members of the U.S. Marshals Violent Fugitive Apprehension Unit tracked them down. That sounds like a badass group of people. The U.S. Marshals Violent Fugitive Apprehension Unit. They tracked them down and arrested them about 2 p.m. Wednesday in Springfield. Investigators applied for warrants for Mr. Yohn and 2 counts of home invasion, aggravated kidnapping, aggravated vehicular hijacking, residential burglary, and aggravated criminal SA. Bond was set at $10 million with 10% to apply. So basically, they have to come up with $1 million, non-refundable usually, to get the $10 million bailout. So yeah, they got to come up with $1 million in cash before they have a chance of even getting their bond. Yohn was also charged with an additional vehicular hijacking that occurred in Adams County last week. Bond in that case was set at $250,000 with 10% to apply. So if you're keeping track, he needs to come up with $1,025,000 to get out of jail. Warrants for Blackledge were issued for 2 counts of home invasion, aggravated kidnapping, aggravated vehicular hijacking, residential burglary, and aggravated criminal SA. Bond was set at $5 million with 10% to apply. She's got to come up with $500,000 in cash. The sheriff's office reports the investigation is ongoing. Yohn previously pleaded guilty in Sangamon County to felony charges of retail theft and aggravated battery, use of a deadly weapon. He had been sentenced in 2020 to 3 years in the Illinois Department of Corrections in the battery case. Blackledge pleaded guilty in Adams County in April to felony charges of a forged credit card or debit card over $300, as well as possession of a stolen vehicle. In each of those cases, she was given concurrent sentences of 120 days in the Adams County Jail with credit for time served and 24 months of probation. The remaining jail time was stayed. Hey, these are habitual criminals here, people. Earlier today, Blackledge appeared with her attorney for a status hearing in Adams County Court on a felony charge of possession of methamphetamines under 5 grams. Wagner said he does not believe either should have been out on the streets. Yeah, when one of them was sentenced a year before this happened to 3 years in jail, and when the other was come on, yeah, there's problems. They shouldn't have been out on the street. I agree with that. Whether they did this, again, they are both presumed innocent until proven guilty, but they shouldn't have been out on the streets because of the other crimes, I believe. If they're going to commit these types of crimes, they shouldn't be out on the streets. Well, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, if you're going to murder someone, you probably shouldn't be out on the street. If you're going to kidnap people, SA them, steal their money, burglarize their home, yeah, you shouldn't be out on the streets. So they should be in jail, probably where they belong. Nobody deserves to be victimized by anybody. Rawr, tiger. All right, so that's the basic background. So what's happened since then? What has gone on during the past year as far as the criminal trial is concerned? This article here says that the trial for Yohn is set to begin on November 14th. It didn't, and we'll find out why. The trial for a Springfield man charged in a 2021 carjacking at home will begin on November 14th. No, but for a little bit of news, his next hearing is scheduled for this Friday. There's going to be a bunch of motion hearings this Friday. We'll talk about them a little bit later. This Friday, hopefully, will be today because I'm recording this earlier. Probably upload this one on Friday. Judge Roger Thomas denied an oral motion from defendant Bradley Yohn to move back the start of the trial even further after granting a prosecution request to push the start back 1 week from the previously set November 7th start date. I'm going to need a little more time to formulate this defense, Yohn told Thompson in making the request. After Thompson denied the oral motion, he told Yohn he could enter a formal written motion. Yohn stated his objection to Thompson, and a heated exchange followed. Don't interrupt me or you'll be removed from the courtroom, Thompson said. Well, I'm ready to go, Yohn responded. Go, you're out, Thompson said, and several bailiffs and sheriff's deputies escorted Yohn from the courtroom. Hey, does this sound familiar to anybody? Again, this is the soft sit Darrell Brooks tactics. Delay, deny, push back. The exchange happened during an omnibus motion hearing that also addressed the role of Yohn's standby attorney, public defender Todd Nelson, as well as evidentiary issues. Nelson asked the court to define the parameters of his participation in the trial. So this is the public defender who's been assigned to represent Yohn. He says, hey, court, tell me what my job is here. I need to know. And Yohn says, I don't want him to have any parameters. I don't want him to be here. Yohn insisted he was guaranteed a constitutional right to stand by counsel, but Thompson told him that is not the case. So he said, okay, I misspoke there. He said he doesn't want any parameters. He wants this guy to be there constantly without any restrictions as standby counsel. But Thompson, the judge, says, nope, that's not the case. The defendants are guaranteed a right to counsel, not standby counsel. They're guaranteed a right to counsel, which Yohn previously waived by asking to represent himself pro se, or pro per, as the soft sits like to say. Incorrect, Thompson said. You have no right to stand by counsel. Thompson then asked Yohn what he expected of Nelson. So, Mr. Yohn, what do you expect your counsel to do? I would expect the man to be here and to help me at trial. See, that's what we call a counsel, not a standby counsel, Yohn. He said that he asked that Nelson be present and sit next to him at the trial and answer any legal questions Yohn might have. Thompson reminded Yohn that might confuse jurors, but Yohn said he would ask that jurors be instructed to acknowledge that he was representing himself. Pro se, soft sit stuff. Thompson then instructed Nelson to be part of the trial and to answer legal questions that he brings to you. So Yohn won that one. He gets to represent himself and he gets standby counsel. Because the evidentiary issues related to admissibility of various pieces of evidence, that portion of the hearing was closed to members of the media and general public. Yohn was this is where we kind of get into the craziness of the proceedings here. Yohn was set to represent himself at trial on June 21st when he requested an attorney moments before prospective jurors entered the room. He demanded a speedy trial, which is also the soft sit thing. He demanded a speedy trial. The jury was getting ready to walk in the room, and that's when he chose to exercise his right to have counsel. Again, that's soft sit stuff. Delay, delay, delay. We'll get into some of this probably once this gets closer to trial. We'll get into some of the soft sit beliefs and tactics, and we'll have some people on to talk about that. So the jurors are getting ready to file into the courtroom, and then he asks for a lawyer. After his request to get an attorney was granted, Yohn said in court that he would fire whoever was appointed and represent himself later. Clearly, he literally told the judge, I want a lawyer. The judge says, okay, I'll appoint someone. He said, okay, as soon as you appoint him, I'm going to fire him and represent myself. Delay tactic. That's a wild delay tactic that actually worked. He has pleaded not guilty to 2 counts of home invasion, 1 count of aggravated kidnapping, and 1 count of aggravated vehicular hijacking, 1 count of aggravated criminal SA, all Class X felonies, and residential burglary, a Class 1, Class 10, I guess, I don't know, Class 1 felony. Those charges are in connection with the November 9th, 2021 incident that allegedly began on North Bottom Road. Now, he also faces felony charges in 2 other cases. He was charged with vehicular hijacking stemming from an October 31st, 2021 incident. He faces charges of residential burglary, Class 1 felony, 2 counts of theft or unauthorized control over property over $500, but under $10,000, Class 3 felonies, and a criminal SA, a Class 4 felony. These charges stem from an October 14, 2021 incident. Yohn is being held on $15 million bond, which is believed to be the largest bond amount ever set in Adams County. The trial is set to start November 14th, and he will return for a status hearing on November 2nd. Well, that didn't really happen. They had a status hearing. It went off the rails. We'll probably watch that next time we deal with this issue, probably early to mid next week. We'll show that hearing that went off the rails. But Dingbat here, who's got all kinds of felonies and $15 million worth of bond, he screwed up in jail. He gets another felony for possessing thumb drives while in jail. A Springfield man defending himself against criminal SA charges in Quincy picked up another felony charge earlier this month. Bradley Yohn was charged November 15th in Adams County Circuit Court with 3 counts of possessing contraband in a penal institution, Class 1 felony. If he's found guilty, he faces between 4 and 15 years in the Illinois Department of Corrections. Discharging documents filed with Adams County show Yohn possessed electronic contraband in the form of thumb drives in the Adams County jail. Yohn has also been charged with communicating with a witness, a Class 3 felony. Charging documents show he communicated false information to Karen Blackledge with the intent of preventing her from testifying freely, fully, and truly. Sounds like intimidating a witness to me. Blackledge and Yohn were arrested November 10th, 2021 in Springfield in connection with an incident on November 9, 2021. When Blackledge acknowledged in court she illegally entered a home on Quincy's North Bottom Road. While in the home, she used a weapon to penetrate Christine Tina Schmidt, who died on December 12th, 2021. Yeah, the old lady died, by the way, while waiting to go to trial. Not too long after it happened. Like, she died a month after. She pled guilty on May 5th and received 2 20-year sentences to the Illinois Department of Corrections. She flipped. She's going to rat him out. She's going to testify against him at trial. He contacted her illegally and apparently said something to try to prevent her from testifying, and now he picked up new charges for that. So Yohn is defending himself against charges of home invasion, aggravated kidnapping, aggravated vehicular hijacking, aggravated criminal SA with a weapon. He allegedly committed the crimes on November 9th at Schmidt's home. Yohn can be sentenced to serve anywhere between 6 and 30 years if found guilty of any of the Class X felonies. He is due in court Wednesday morning for a status hearing in that case. He was also charged on October 14th with threatening a public official, a Class 3 felony. Judge Tad Brenner set bail at $100,000, and assigned public defender Todd Nelson as Yohn's attorney. A charging document filed in Adams County Circuit Court claims Yohn said to the correctional officer Cole Anderson, "I'll get you, bitch. I don't care about no charge. When I get out, I will get you. I'd kill you, bitch. It doesn't matter if I'm threatening you. They won't charge me anyway. You're dead, bitch." Yohn also allegedly said he would get Anderson's mother and sister first, so Anderson had to watch. Well, homie going down if he's found guilty of these for a very, very long time. Yeah, guy's got a stack of felonies, a bunch of felonies. He's representing himself in all of these cases. Not a good thing to do. First of all, don't commit the felonies. Two, if you do or are accused of it, make sure you have a real lawyer who's good. Don't represent yourself. But can you see why this might be crazier than the Darrell Brooks trial? Next time we talk about this, we'll show the trial from the previous hearing, which lasted a grand total of about 13 minutes, and 10 of that was actual trial time, I guess. It was actual hearing time. So the 30th of December, which may be today, maybe a few days ago, I don't know when I'm going to upload this, but I'm going to try to upload this on December 30th, is the date of the next scheduled hearing. So we'll have a report after that. If there's footage of that, we'll show that, and we'll also show this previous hearing. This is the Bradly Yohn case. We'll see when it goes to trial. I'll follow it, and it seems like it's going to be televised, so that'll be something that we can all watch together. So until our next update on the Bradly Yohn case, whatever you do, hang tight and enjoy your legal vices.